This is a ManeHustle Media podcast.
It sounds like one of the names they would have for a monarch. It's like Queen Javia the First, Black Radical Queer, among queer Negro women.
All the way from the A, you listen to my favorite lesbian on BRQ.
Hey, stay locked in with your favorite lesbian on Black Radical Queer. Yeah.
Hey y'all, this is Javia Nicole, aka your favorite lesbian, and you're listening to Black Radical Queer Podcast, our stories on our own terms.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Black Radical Queer Podcast. I am your host, Javia Nicole. First and foremost, I just want to say 10K, okay? 10K in 10 months. I am so excited and humbled that I've been able to reach 10,000 downloads in 10 months. As of this morning, I'm currently recording at around noon on Monday, April 22nd. And this morning, the last time that I touched base with my producer, Charmaine told me that I was at about 10,200 downloads. So yeah, that's dope as fuck. I'm really excited about that. Thanks, because y'all did it. Y'all did it by listening to me. So what I decided to do to kind of celebrate reaching this milestone, because it's something I thought would take a year. I was like, okay, I want to hit 10K in my first year, and it's been 10 months. So we did that shit. So yeah, I asked you all, hey, do you have any questions that you want to ask me? Yeah, you know, like what y'all want to know. This is your chance. Slide in my DMs, be nosy, all that good stuff. So y'all did ask some questions, so I will be answering those. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. So first question is, how old am I? Now, I have answered this, but I also recognize some people are newer to my podcast, and so they may not know. So I am 31 years old. It's crazy. I can actually say I'm in my 30s now. I turned 31 on April 2nd. Aries, gang, gang. We out here. So yeah, I'm 31 years old. All right. Next question. What do you do for work? So I, again, this is something that for those of you who've been listening for a while, y'all gonna be like, oh, we already know. But hey, you know, some people don't know. So I am a direct support professional. I work with adults who have developmental disabilities. I'm what's considered a life skills coach. So I help them to become independent at their jobs, learn how to do their jobs, become independent so they can get to these coins and they can have their own money and they can do what they want to do. So I do that. In addition to that, I also have my own company called Sensual, which is a holistic wellness company. We do wellness coaching, curated care packages, classes and demos, as well as the Sensual Care Corner. Now, I am the wellness coach for Sensual. I have my master's in counseling with a focus in health and wellness. So, wellness coach. So I do have that, as well as counseling experience with a variety of populations and marginalized people. Okay. My wife is the one who is the creator of the curated care packages. She has her background is in hospitality, and she is a beast in her field. So she is very good at like determining what the people need, what the people want, you know, that kind of thing, where there's a void. And so with the care packages, that's something that she's able to fill a void. We were trying to find a care package for our cousin, and we could not find something that really encompassed what we wanted it to. And so my wife was like, I got this. And so she started doing the curated care packages. For me, I do the wellness coaching. I do individualized wellness plans for my clients. I also teach wellness classes to individuals, groups, organizations, businesses, teaching them how to incorporate wellness into their entity. So if you're a nonprofit or a business, it's like basically, you know, what does wellness have to do with you, your employees, your staff, your members? How can you make your entity more conducive to wellness? Okay. And then I also do the sensual care corner, which is at events, parties, whatever, setting up a literal corner where people can come and unwind. They can have guided meditation. They can have snacks and drinks just if they need to hydrate or whatever, need a break. They can do aromatherapy, conflict resolution and mediation. They can get referrals if they need help with a referral to a therapist or some type of professional who's going to be competent. So the referrals can be to therapists that are of color, that are queer competent, that are competent with different relationship styles, such as polyamory, and that are also kink aware or kink competent professionals. All right. So that's what I do with the Sensual Care Corner. And the Sensual Experience is also a wellness coaching, guided meditation experience that is specifically targeted to non-men of color. So that's what I do. So I got my day job as a direct support professional. And I got, and then I have Sensual, which is my baby. So yeah. One of my babies, because y'all know BRQ is my baby, but yeah, Sensual too. All right. So that's what I do for work. All right. The next question. Do you like to travel? If so, what trips have you taken? So your girl loves to travel. I love to travel. Wanderlust is real. Oh, and I do want to say, before I move forward. So there are some questions I got that, some stuff was asked about my wife. And so for some stuff, like I may mention her, but in general, I'm not going to be disclosing. There's certain things I feel like it should be up to her to disclose. I'll have her back on the show at some point, but I'm not going to be putting her business out there. I can put my business out there, but certain things I'm not going to be putting her business out there. So, I've, gone through the questions and kind of determined what I will and will not answer that pertains to her specifically, but I'll answer everything that pertains, as it pertains to me. All right, moving forward. So Wanderlust, the Wanderlust is real. So some trips that I've taken, I won't go over every single trip, but some trips that stand out to me. My best friend and I did a East Coast road trip. So from Florida to like New York, Connecticut, that was lit. We were talking about maybe doing a West Coast version of that because it was really dope. I enjoyed doing that road trip with her. I've also been to Puerto Rico. I love Puerto Rico. I would love to go back. Shout out PR. Like, I think it's important that people go to Puerto Rico. They need the money. They're working to rebuild. And so tourism is how Puerto Rico makes a lot of, that's a big crux of their economy. So I think it's definitely, a good trip. The people are beautiful. People are lovely. Food is amazing. It's high on my list of places that I want to go back to, as soon as possible. Absolutely love Puerto Rico. I've also been to Iceland. Love Iceland. Iceland was what I consider to be my big surprise. I never thought of going to Iceland, never planned to go to Iceland. Won a trip to go to Iceland, won a contest that I entered or whatever that my wife encouraged me to enter. Shout out. Good looking out, babe. But I, sent in my essay and everything, filled out the stuff, and I was chosen to go, which still blows my mind, even though that was a couple years ago that I went. But Iceland was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The people were very friendly. It was the first time that I had been around that many white people and not felt like I had to deal with microaggressions and racism. So it was very eye-opening because it was just very different. I was just treated like a regular ass person, which was great. Yeah, would love to go back to Iceland. I went in the wintertime. We did see the Northern Lights. It was lit. I want to go back in the summertime just to experience it in the summer. But it was kind of a beautiful surprise type of thing. I never anticipated going there. Loved it. It looked like a fucking postcard. Shit was amazing. It was lit. And I went with a group of black women, which was even better. And I would love to go back with more black folks. And then last but absolutely not least, the trip that I want to mention is my trip to Mexico for my wedding. So as many of you know, I got married last year. Anniversary coming up. Turn up. But I got married last year, and we had a destination wedding in Mexico, and it was beautiful. We had our wedding in Cabo San Lucas, and had 30, crew of 30 people celebrating with us, and all inclusive resort, lit. We went on an excursion. We almost died on these ATVs, but that's an experience I got to share with my wife and my loved ones. It was beautiful. I want to go back to Mexico. It was just awesome. It was awesome to have that many, have a group of 30 Black people in Mexico turned up. Yeah, I'm here for it, so that was fun. So those are some trips I've been on. I've been on other trips. I love to travel, always trying to figure out the next place to go. My wife created a group because once we did our wedding trip, everybody was like, oh, we should do this again. And my wife created a group called the Wanderlust Collective, and we take trips, and that's her baby. So, and I'm just like, hey, babe, I'm just here to support you and go on the trip. So, yeah, so travel is very important to me. All right, next question. What is your favorite food? I'm a foodie, fat girl gang. I do enjoy food, and I'm very nerdy about it too. But if I just had to choose one food, I'm gonna choose macaroni and cheese, hands down, always. But I also have like things that I consider to be comfort foods that I really love. Macaroni and cheese is on that list. Macaroni and cheese, favorite food, turn up. But I definitely like I love some Indian food. I love like all kinds of Asian food. So Indian food, Thai food, Japanese food. I'm here for all of it. I love Mexican food, and it's kind of ridiculous. Like I eat Mexican food regularly, and it's definitely comfort food to me. So yeah, I'll have to say macaroni and cheese, my favorite food. But then I also have like types of food, genres of food that I rather enjoy. My food likes are kind of like all over the place. I really like trying different things when it comes to food. All right, next question. Next question is, who is my celebrity crush? Okay. I mean, bruh, I don't know. There's a list. So, because I like different celebrities for different reasons. I can't say I have one celebrity who is my ultimate celebrity crush, but I'll just give you a short list, okay? So, celebrity crushes would have to be Trevante Rhodes. Look at him. Like, I don't think I have to say anything else. Look at him, okay? I love me some Angela Bassett. She is beautiful. She is like, just, I don't know. Like if she wanted a tenderoni, okay, your girl would come through. All right. I would absolutely be fine to be a tenderoni for Angela Bassett. I just think she's beautiful. I also think, Danielle Brooks, gorgeous. First of all, melanin popping, beautiful smile. I love her voice, and she's stat like pancakes. Come on now, like love. So Danielle Brooks, same thing with Daisha Polanco. I don't know if I'm saying her first name right. Is it Daisha Polanco? Also from Orange is the New Black. Fine as hell, stat like pancakes, and like her personality. Yeah, so fine. Who else? It's like, of course, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just like, it's hard for me to remember every damn body because I stay crushing on somebody. Who else do I have as a celebrity? You know what? Y'all know who my current, like my newest celebrity crush is? It's fucking Megan Thee Stallion. That's my latest crush. Y'all, I love cocky Black women. I love cocky women of color. I just love it. I love it. I love cocky women artists who just like, because it's like the shit that, guys have always been able to say that it's like supposedly not ladylike. I love it. I love ratchet, like just like ratchet, cocky, badass. And so to me, Megan Thee Stallion is that. She's bad. I mean, look at her. Okay. Literally stallion, like stacked, but I love her voice. She has kind of a deep voice. I love it. She sounds straight up Texas, like so Houston, So I love the accent and stuff like that. Southern girl. She just has like Southern girl swag. And she got bars. Like, so she's my current like celebrity crush who's like newer, to me. Not super new. I think I started listening to her. Well, I just started listening to her maybe like toward the end of last year. And then this year I started listening to her more. But yeah. So that's y'all. I'm just saying. The stallion can get it. And I'll just leave it at that. That's a good enough list right there. All right. So this next question, so this is about to go, well, I guess it's a transition because I said that, the stallion could get it. Because the next question is, have you ever participated in a multi-partner sexual experience? Yes, I have. Your girl used to be out here. All right. That's the easiest way for me to put it. Your girl used to be out here. I have experienced some things, stop bopping a little bit. I have what I call my harlot days. I did not, by my standards or from my understanding, I didn't start having sex really early. Like when I was in school, I had classmates and stuff that were already having sex and I wasn't. I didn't really I had, my first sexual experience was, I was almost done with high school. So, I was like a junior. I was a junior. So yeah, that's almost done with high school, but I didn't really get for real. That was just kind of one time. I didn't get for real sexually active until college, until I was done with high school. So I got to college and then your girl was out here. I was just trying shit. The way I describe it to my wife, I'd be like, sometimes opportunities would present themselves and I would just, not reject the opportunity. So that's probably a terrible way to put it, but yeah, I was very exploratory. I was open. I was just like, hey, and I was poly, but I didn't know that term yet. I didn't learn the term poly until a little later, but yeah, so I have had multi-partner experiences, and we just gonna leave that at that. Yes, that's the answer. All right. My next question is, what's your kinky coming out story? So I guess this can, we're trying to get to the grown folk stuff. So, for those who don't know, I am a dominant leather woman. Okay. So, I have been involved in the kink BDSM leather community for, I've been actively in the community for about 6 years, but my first experience kind of delving into some freaky, kinky, freaky, kinky, I'm trying to say kinky, freaky, deaky stuff was when I was probably about 19. Now, some of this stuff is in hindsight, y'all. I'm looking back at it dang, So it wasn't until later in my 20s that I looked back at this relationship I had when I was 18, 19. I looked at some experiences I had with some folks and I'm like, hey, that was a little kinky. Y'all was doing some things. So when I was about 20 or 21, probably 21, when I was about 21, I ended up I had a friend who was into kink and stuff and was like, oh, you should, they told me to check out FetLife, this website FetLife. They're like, oh, it's like kinky Facebook. And I was like, So this is during my time where I'm exploratory, I'm open-minded. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll, get on there. So I got on the site. And so once I joined, I started researching all the little kinks and stuff that they had listed on there. And so once I looked, I was like, wait a minute, bruh, I've done some of this stuff. So when I was younger, I remember folks when I was in high school talking about liking to be choked and liking their hair pulled and liking to be spanked and stuff. I remember girls in my class talking about that, but I also was not sexually active at the time. So I was just kind of okay, whatever, it would just be me overhearing their conversations talking about sex and stuff. I couldn't contribute anything to the conversation because I wasn't doing anything at the time. But once I learned about, this whole new world was opened up to me with all this different terminology, I looked back on some relationships I had at 18, 19. And I was like, I started matching up the terms to what I had been doing. So I was like, I think this was like, we were doing some power exchange, or this was some impact play, or, whatever. I started like, reading about the stuff and then matching it to my experiences. Okay. So that was really how I figured out that I was kind of into some different things. And then it also helped me realize what I was not into. Some stuff I'm like, nope, not about that life, but whatever works for you. So yeah, I just learned more. And then, so how I got from there, just kind of learning about all these different things, all these different possibilities, to where I am now as a dominant leather woman, got my own leather house, very like active in the kink BDSM leather community, a member of a, kink leather BDSM service organization, is that I went to this event, in Atlanta. It was called Wicked Wonderland. And it's like at a dungeon. I had never been to a dungeon. It was at a dungeon, and they had like different stations where you could learn about different things. So they had like people, and they had vendors and stuff. So they had people that had like candles that you could use for wax play, and paddles and shit you could use for spanking, and like floggers, and all kind of stuff. And I was like, whoa, it was like a whole new world to me. I was like, wait, I ain't never seen some of this stuff. So I was stopping by the little booths, and then people would tell you about it, and like, how you could do it. They were doing demos and all that kind of stuff. So, while I was at this event, they were saying, hey, we're going to have like a kind of like an after party, or like a play party afterwards. And you'll be able to get to see people like in action, like people using this stuff and whatever. And you kind of see how it works out. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went back, and while I was at this event, I saw this woman walking around, and she just looked boss. She looked like a boss bitch. Okay. I'm like, damn. So I noticed her. And then I saw this guy who was like carrying her stuff, and then he was like going and making sure everything was like squared away for her. And I was like, so I'm watching this, and I'm like, oh, I think that like that it looked appealing to me. It was intriguing. I'm like, wait, so he taking care of this, he carrying this, like, oh, your girl is intrigued. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, what's going on? So she ended up approaching me. She gave me her card, and her card showed that she was a part of this group in Atlanta for Black female dominance. And I was like, so some time passed. I was in grad school. Well, I ended up going to grad school and all that kind of stuff. So I was just like, I wasn't super, like, I didn't follow up basically. And then some months passed, and then I ended up going to one of the meetings, because the group had like different meetings or whatever. I went and I saw what they were talking about, and I just noticed, I'm like, damn, like some of this stuff actually sounds kind of cool. Like it fits my personality. I do have a dominant personality. And it really would, like, I'm interested in this or whatever. So, I was like, okay, cool. So once I started going to the group, I started learning more. I asked the woman who I originally saw, I was like, hey, do you mentor? Because I like how she moved through space. Like I like that she wasn't like, wild or anything, but her presence. I loved her presence, and like how her and her submissive, I ended up finding out later that was her submissive, how they interacted with each other. And I was like, hey, I dig this. Like, I'm curious about it. So do you mentor? And so she was like, yeah, I do like, formal mentorship, blah, blah, blah. So I entered into mentorship with her. She, taught me a lot and helped give me this framework to like look at how to be in the lifestyle, and how to like, do this in a way that makes sense, that is structured, that is ethical, all that kind of stuff. And it really helped to kind of like, it strengthened, like the things that I was already strong in, it just reinforced it. And then the things that I needed to be stronger in, it helped reinforce those things too. And so now to this day, she's still my mentor. I ended up, going on that journey, being mentored. I started mentoring other people. My mentor had a house, a leather house or whatever. And I joined. I was a member for 4 years. And then this year, launched my own house. So now, so I say all that to say now, where I am now in like my kinky leather path is that I have my own house called House of Noir. It is a Black queer radical, Black radical queer leather house. And we do community service. So we do help to give back to the community. And we also help, we do mentor. So I mentor other folks, and also hope to be visible, really work to be visible so that other Black folks and other Black queer people can see that, like, this ain't just some, 50 Shades of Grey type shit, some white folk shit, that like, hey, no, Black people can be kinky too. Black people can be about this life too. We can do power exchange. We can do BDSM. We can do whatever the fuck we want to do. And this is how that can manifest. And it's been awesome to be able to grow and learn and help other people too. So I'm a dominant leather woman. I have 2 S types, both women, both Black queer women. They both identify as poly and bisexual. And so far we are the House of Noir. It's just us 3. And then I have like what I'll consider to be my leather family, and like, which is the original house I was a part of. My mentor has 2 S types and all that. So we're kind of like, that would be like our extended family. But then I have my house, which is me and my 2 girls. And so it's been interesting. I mean, those who are close to me know all of this already. So for instance, like, of course, my wife has, seen the whole journey. My mom, my sisters, like, people who are close to me, for the most part, know. Now, it's different degrees. It's levels to this. So I haven't just like put all my business out there to every single person. I'm a part of a service organization called Onyx Pearls. Onyx Pearls Southeast is the chapter I'm a part of, which is based in Atlanta. And they, but we have members all over. The chapter's just based in Atlanta, but we're a service organization. We've given back to so many different nonprofits and charities. We're a 501c3. So it's been really awesome. I've been a part of that organization for 3 years. And for 3, going on 4 years, actually. And I served on the board. I used to be the health and wellness chair for the board for 2 years. And so this year, I stepped down or whatever from the board. So, but so, I mean, it's like when people think of kink and stuff, they just think of, the freaky deaky stuff, and that's cool. But, for me, being in the leather community has really, a big way that it's impacted me is that I've done a lot of service. I've been able to help a lot of different entities through my service. And, I've gotten to know a lot of cool people. So that's been really dope. I get to teach and train. I get to, one of the things I do with Sensual, like some of the classes that I teach are geared toward kinky people and organizations, and teaching them like how to incorporate wellness into what they do, so that they can look at it from a holistic perspective instead of just the physical. So that's been really cool to do. I've taught at conferences. They're like Leather Leadership Conference. I've taught at Los Angeles Doms and Subs. So your girl out here. But I believe strongly in teaching and training. I believe in education and service, giving back to the community. We've been able to donate to a lot of entities. So so that's my kind of kinky coming out story, how I got into it, and where I am now. Where I am now is head of household for a new leather house. I'm a dominant. I'm a leather woman. I have 2 S types, and we're out here just trying to be of service. I have 2 mentees as well, 2 folks that I'm mentoring who are also dominants. They're growing and learning and coming up in their own right. They're both badass. So it's just dope to me to see this lineage and to see like all these Black folks who like we're claiming our space in this community and saying like, hey, this is it's not just white folks who are about this life. It's not, and that it ain't like some 50 Shades of Grey shit. Like, that's really not real life. That's not how we operate. Like, we really got real life shit going on. And so it's just real cool. So, just like with anything else, it has its ups and downs. It has its issues. But overall, it's been a very fulfilling journey to me. I never would have thought that this is where I would be, and that it would resonate with me so much, and that I would be so active and visible in the community and stuff. But, it's just how it turned out. I mean, I pledged Onyx Pearls because it's a, leather kink BDSM sorority service, like a service sorority. So I pledged, and I mean, when I crossed, my mom came to see me cross. I've come out to, family members and stuff like that. And I haven't had any issues. I mean, I really feel like at this point, I just can't surprise my people anymore. They're like, okay, this bitch queer, she poly, she just every damn thing. So I think at this point, you know, nothing can surprise them. But I really feel like, you know, if my mom knows and like, you know, it's whatever, like who gonna check me? So yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. But that's my long-winded kinky story. All right, next question. What advice would you give to someone who is thinking about coming out? Now, I think there are different ways that you can come out, and like for different reasons. So for instance, like I just said, you know, I've come out as queer, lesbian, you know, I've come out as poly, I've come out as kinky. But I do feel like there's levels. There's levels to this shit. And for one, I would say if someone's thinking about coming out, first for them to ask themselves why. Why do they want to come out? And once they know that, cool. Who do you want to come out to? I think there's a misconception that like coming out means you have to shout from the rooftops or come out very publicly to every single person. You can be out, what I call selectively out. That's me. So some people who listen, they're going to be like, ain't none of this shit new to me. I already knew all this stuff about you. Because I'm already out to them. So like, for instance, my mom could listen to this episode and not be shocked by anything, you know, because I'm out to her across the spectrum. She knows who I am fully. So she knows that I'm poly and I'm kinky and I'm queer and, you know, I'm a dominant and I have some, like, she knows all that stuff. So, hell, she was like, when I was launching my house and I showed her the crest, like she was like, hype. She was like, oh, that's so hot, you know, so yeah, my mom, I love my mama. But anyway, so she already knows I'm already out to her. Same with like my sister, one of my sisters, and I'm pretty sure one of my sisters, like she's under 18, so no, but, my adult sisters, they already know that like I'll be on some other shit and, you know, they don't judge or anything like that, but I'm selectively out. I don't come out to every single person. I'm not like out, you know, hell, at my job, I'm not out as queer. And that's because I feel like it's just none of their business. I also work very solo. I just work with my clients one-on-one. So I don't have a traditional office or anything. So it's like, I'm not even around people like that to be coming out to them. Like, it's just irrelevant to my interaction with them. So I can see if I had a desk and I had a picture of my wife on my desk or something, but that's just not the case. So I say that to say that what does it mean to you to come out? That's what I would want for you to ask yourself. What does it mean to you to come out? Because coming out could just mean you telling one person. Coming out could be you accepting it in yourself and just living your truth. You could be like, you know what? I'm not going to actually announce anything. I'm just going to live. And I know people who've done that too, where it's like, they didn't announce anything. They didn't say, hey, I'm gay. Hey, I'm this. Hey, I'm that. They just showed up with their same-sex partner, or they didn't say, hey, I'm poly. They just showed up with two partners or whatever. So it's looking at, you know, the best advice I can give is for you to do what is best for you. Take into consideration your safety. I personally don't think it's worth jeopardizing your safety to come out. So I would say like do it in ways that whatever ways are safest for you. Like I wouldn't want anybody to like lose where they live or lose their job or something like that for coming out. So, you know, come out to those trusted people that you can, and just be yourself, and know too that it's a process and that it doesn't have to happen overnight and that it's continuous. So you may be coming out for the rest of your life, or you can decide not to. You could be like, I'm just going to live. I'm not going to actually come out. But, if you're thinking about coming out, just, you know, figure out what that actually looks like to you, because I think that we can have a very, kind of like narrow view of what it actually means to come out. But only you can define it for yourself. For you, coming out might be only telling your best friend. Coming out might be, you know, just doing a Facebook post and then that's it, you know. So you got to decide what that looks like and what that means for you. So that's the advice I would give, is define it for yourself. If you think about coming out, think about what that actually means. Like for you individually, what does it mean to come out? And then you just go on with that. And knowing that over time that can adjust and that can grow. I've had to come out several times. Well, I won't say I've had to come out. I've come out several times and it's different every single time. But I'm very selective, and I just, at this point, I'm strategically trying to decompartmentalize my life. So I, will allow myself to kind of like come out in certain situations or like be open like this, like I am on the show. But, I'm not just like, I'm not very, flamboyant or anything. I don't broadcast. I'm honest about it if you ask, but I also don't necessarily feel like I have to broadcast. I'm just living my black ass life. All right. So, and then my last question is, what are your long-term goals for BRQ? So what I really want to do with Black Radical Queer is, of course, I wanted to keep growing. If ideally in a dream world, if I could have, it be more set up like a radio show where there's actually a physical location, like, ManeHustle Media has like ManeHustle Studios or something. And I have a dedicated setup. I can have guests come in. I would love to have it be, kind of similar to, even though I hate to use this as an example, but it's the first one that's coming to mind for me right now. Kind of how, you know what? I ain't gonna even use that one as an example. I was about to say the Breakfast Club, but fuck them. What I want to say, like, similar to like Deezus and Mero. So Deezus and Mero are very inspirational to me because they just like some hood niggas, like who, came up. And so they had, Bodega Boys podcast. And so I like the format of how they had the show on Vice. Something like that would be dope as fuck. Or something set up. I was going to say the Breakfast Club because how, it's in the studio. You can see the video, but it's like they're in the studio. Something like that would be dope too. So to have like a nationally recognized show, internationally recognized platform show, whatever, is a long-term goal. And I really would like to go on tour. I would like to do live recordings of the show. So go to different cities and, whether it's at a university or it's wherever, some group or whatever hosts me, I come and we have a live conversation. We do a live episode and I just do that from place to place. I would love to do that. That's a dream of mine, is to be able to do a BRQ tour. And then like, connect with other, Black radical folks in these various cities. And we just, hang out together, have a conversation, have a live audience. We all get to talk shit together and, do that as a show. So that would be my long-term goals, would be to be able to expand the platform. I really would love to see ManeHustle have a concrete location, like a physical location, and we have a dedicated studio. And then I could just, have folks come to the studio and you see that setup similar to what they have on the Breakfast Club or any like radio station or whatever. If it could be a radio show, cool. But, I talk a lot of shit and I curse and stuff. So I doubt they will put my black ass on the radio. But, just something that has that kind of reach. So yeah, I would say look at like The Read, look at, Deezus and Mero, Bodega Boys, look at Horrible Decisions. Look at those entities, and that's along the lines of what I'm thinking. I really want to expand the reach, and I want to be able to tell more people's stories. So I feel like if I'm able to go like from city to city, I can have like some people from that city come through and we do the live recording and be like, hey, these are these folks' story. They can share it live. Like we could talk about it right then and there, which to me, the idea of that is really, really dope. Let's see. Other than that, I really would love to see the BRQ merch expand, the merchandise. I'd love to see folks rocking the shirts, the hoodie, so if I can expand that and offer more stuff with the branding on it, I think that would be really dope. Yeah, so, I look to, like I mentioned, I look to those entities like The Read, they have merchandise, they have the podcast, kind of thing. They have sponsors. Your girl needs some sponsors. So that's definitely a goal of mine. And, like the podcast Horrible Decisions, they go on tour. So they have live recordings. I love it. 2 women of color who are doing that. And then Deezus and Mero, Bodega Boys. I like how they really kind of like started from the bottom. Now we here. So it's like looking at these different folks really is inspiring to me. And so they kind of represent some examples of like what I look for BRQ long term, expanding our reach and really, yeah. So ManeHustle Media having a physical location so that, we can have like dedicated space to record, So being able to expand to that level and going on tour, getting out to more people. Yeah, so that's my long-term goals for Black Radical Queer Podcast. All right, so that's it, y'all. I've been talking for a minute, a few minutes. So thank you for, your questions. I really appreciate them. If you have any other questions, just let me know. I'll, get to them on another episode. But that was all the ones that I have for today. I appreciate y'all. And yeah, thank you for listening. I can't think of anything else that I need to add. So yeah, I'm in the, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 5. I don't even know, quintuple digits now with my downloads since I have over 10,000. It's so crazy to me. I just can't believe it. So I really appreciate y'all for listening. And yeah, let me know what you want to hear more of. Let me know what you want to see from Black Radical Queer in the future. I'm trying to come to y'all. Like, I really would love to come to these different places where y'all are. And, we get to do this shit in person and record it live. But yeah, what types of things would you have in mind for the future of Black Radical Queer Podcast? Yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for listening. Love y'all. It's been real, but I'm real tired of talking. So I'm out. Bye, y'all. Black Radical Queer Podcast is all about intersectionality and Black queer folks sharing our stories on our own terms. We navigate an array of identities, and BRQ is an outlet where we can see the spectrum of those identities reflected, explored, and celebrated. Black Radical Queer is a ManeHustle media podcast hosted by Javia Nicole, produced and edited by Charmaine Johnson. Music is by Publicity. You can find us on social media by looking up Black Rad Queer. It's BLK RAD QWR. We are on Facebook as well as Instagram and Twitter. Same handle regardless, at Black Rad Queer. BLK RAD QWR. We also have a Facebook discussion group that's just called BRQ Discussion Group. And you can also listen wherever you get your podcasts. So we're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, Google Play, all those types of things. And we have, our home base that's on Libsyn, so you can listen on there as well. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Make sure you come on back around next week to see what we have for you. And all right, y'all, I'm out.
ManeHustle Media. Turn your side hustle into your main hustle.